You defeated all the Goblarks! Whatever they were up to in here, they won't get to finish it. Assuming they hadn't already delivered enough to the orcs. The spheres suddenly burst open, releasing a horde of one-eyed serpentine creatures. Horatio cries out, recognizing what they are. But there's no time to talk. These things could destroy Tidewreath. We mustn't let them run free. Zainab's priorities are clear and make sense. But the Goblarks and their orc masters might get away, and they might know who's behind the Scoundrels' predicament. What are the Goblarks and orcs planning to do with those eggs? Is the one behind the Scoundrels' predicament involved? With Horatio chained to her, the Scoundrels aren't going anywhere. Tidewreath was already destroyed once. I'm not leaving these things here for it to happen again. It's going to take more before she turns her back on these spawnlings. Even if the orcs are planning something worse, we still can't leave these things here. Zainab is starting to doubt herself. The tide is rising quickly. The Scoundrels only have so long before they're trapped here to drown as the cave fills with water. The hatchlings don't have that problem, so if you're gonna kill them, do it quickly. Zainab looks between the hatchlings and the cave exit. She's not sure. Zainab looks between the hatchlings and the cave exit. She's not sure. The armed Goblarks are leaving. They must have been buying time for their friends, which probably means the orcs are leaving too. All right, you win. Whatever the orcs are doing, it could make them strong enough to come back and kill us all anyway. Let's go. Deciding it's best not to wait around in case Zainab has a change of heart, the Scoundrels get going. Hopefully in time to interrupt whatever foul plan the orcs have for those eggs. That's them. The Scoundrels will never forget what the orcs looked like since they rescued late Governor Sanko from them 7 years ago. Wait, They're leaving!
You have a ship, don't you?
Knowing what Zainab is getting at, the scoundrels take off toward their ship.
You know what those things in the cave are, don't you?
Zainab asks Horatio as they ran. He nods, explaining that it's in one of the stories he used to tell. Only unlike the other stories, this one is based on the truth.
Ah, great timing. Some orc pirates just had the gall to sail past me. Me? I was just thinking about apprehending them, but you were... Wait, who's this? Ah, exactly what I was hoping you'd say. Lose the topsails.
As they chase after the orcs, Horatio continues his story. According to the legend, the Kraken, one-eyed god of the sea and storms, sired many enormous monsters called Krakenspawn, including Tiamat, the serpent. Those hatchlings were her offspring. Though small, they were still the grandchildren of a god, or so the stories say. Why would the orcs be after them?
Brace yourselves! We're approaching their ship! Never thought I'd come to the legendary Fell Sea. We always suspected the orcs lived underwater, and seeing them dive down here confirms it.
Peering into the water, the scoundrels can see some kind of shape below the waves, but it's impossible to tell what from up here.
We can dust off my old diving helmet and belts if you like. It's from the years before I joined the Crown Navy, when I was a diver for the Alchemist Guild.
Horatio is the last to don his helmet, which doesn't go unnoticed by Zainab.
What's the matter? Never been underwater on one of your heroic adventures?
Without waiting for an answer, she jumps overboard, taking Horatio with her. As their eyes adjust to the gloom, the scoundrels make out the enormous maw of a huge, dead, one-eyed shark. This can only be the legendary Branchia, another of Kraken's children, whose stories say died long ago. Why did the orcs need Tiamat's eggs? A goblark swims forward with one of the eggs. The orc warlock makes a savage gesture, and the goblark dies, plunging into the creature's guts. With Tiamat's egg, there is a flicker of life, well, and death, in the eye of the beast, and the purpose of all this becomes horrifyingly clear. The orcs mean to reanimate Branchia.
Ritual nearly over. You die here.
You have to stop the goblarks from delivering Tiamat's eggs into the beast's mouth.
Village girl, you know, stop us now.
Zainab, realizing this is the orc who led the massacre on Tide Reef years ago, swims towards him. Horatio has no choice but to go with her. Goblark is halfway to Branchia's mouth. There's no time to lose. A rush of air draws the scoundrel's attention. Zainab's helmet and belt have been destroyed, and she's too busy fighting to hold her breath to avoid a fatal blow. She's gone.
Okay. Not last orc. Not last fight.
With a final breath, the captain shuts his eye. Goblark! However, another Goblark emerges from the gloom carrying an egg. They seem to have an endless supply of eggs and sacrificial Goblarks. You've stopped the Goblark, but this won't stop until you take out that orc warlock. When the warlock dies, the others stop their ritual. It worked, though they're now all focused on you. The last of your enemies fall, and not a moment too soon. The scoundrels are running out of air. Time to head back to the surface. The Scoundrels bring Zainab's body aboard, their victory ring hollow. But there's something clutched in her hand. The Orc captain's journal. She must have stolen it before she died. There's a moment of silence before Horatio gently pries it from her hand. Back on Tide Reef, Horatio wordlessly delivers Zainab's body to the surviving villagers. He doesn't look back. Remembering the Orc captain's journal, Horatio thumbs through it. It reveals that it was an unnamed human who told the Orcs where to find Branchia's grave. But there's something else. Whoever it was also works with a group of assassins called the Arms of the Kraken. And their symbol is identical to the one on the governor's assassin's mask. That confirms that the human collaborator and the person the Scoundrels are after are one and the same. The remaining Orcs slaughtered the survivors after you left. At least, no one lived to reveal your part in the destruction. All that to put a name on the governor's assassins and how they fit in the picture. As they sail on, the captain signals for one of the Scoundrels to come over.
I have good and bad news. I deciphered the note, but the bad news is whoever wrote it wanted the governor to arrest all of you.
But Governor Sanko met with them instead. Was that why he was assassinated and the Scoundrels framed, so they'd still end up in prison? While you ruminate on what this means, pick a new ability for your Scoundrels. The new clues just opened up more questions. If they're to find out who's behind all this, the best leads are still the locations on the map sent to the governor.